This means the most. This means the most to me.
As you said, each country has a different way of expressing themselves. When it comes to art, when it comes to dance, music, which is understandable.
Yes, yes.
But as an artistic director, it has to start from you and the program director to show them, hey, we are not here to tell you I'm better than you are.
Yes.
But rather, we are here for a purpose, to enlighten, to help, the audience we have now, how to become closer to him.
Yes. In the beginning, it might have been a very daunting task.
Yeah.
It's such a gigantic assignment placed on your shoulder. But then if you think that Mary said, the angel announced you will be the mother of God. She said yes.
Without asking.
Without asking. And that was our role instead, to answer to the call of God. And God did His part very well, because it's up to us to really be instruments of His great love for His immense love for each and every one. And this is such a very comforting task, to be used by God.
Because the star of the show is really God Himself. Imagine if this is a concert, because you have talent, you have so many talent, it becomes a concert, people pay for that. Do you think the end result will be like this? No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Maybe so much criticism
it will be
appear,
different, maybe, but it won't be such a miracle. Pulling all the talents together, there might have been professionals among them.
Jealousy,
but most of them are not. The first, and they are not in the field of performing, but they were able to
pull together
everything. And it was such a joy looking at them, enjoying themselves, and really performing for each other also. Not performing only for a crowd, but performing also for each other. And it's like a big, big family, enjoying staying together. And you know what I noticed also? That during the practices, sometimes the first blocking, for example, in a dance, we placed a person in front and some others at the back. And then during the course of practices, maybe you shuffle them, and they're so willing to do it. Others maybe may complain, why? Why will I go to the back? I dance better, I don't know. Something like that. It can happen, but
it did not.
It did not. In unity, there was such an openness, a readiness to do whatever is best for everybody and not for a single person. And this is, again, a miracle of unity. Because otherwise, those who came from different countries, they said, I traveled all the way here just to be placed at the back. But they feel the importance of performing together. And this is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
And the experience they have, they could feel the presence of God, and it will always remind them how God put them together.
Yes, yes.
So why destroy this opportunity when at that time, when you were 16, you joined it, now you are 30 years old, you become suddenly the Prime Minister. Don't you think it's nice to know that, wow, I will do the same things, put my country together. If Genfest, my experience with Genfest can move, I can communicate with all different, culture, tradition. Why can I not as a Prime Minister? Without knowing, maybe one leader will emerge, right?
Of course.
Yeah, it's the experience that they were exposed. I think that's the beauty of it,
That's nice that the seed is planted.
Yes.
Then it depends upon us how to nourish them, or God will make it bloom at the right time, at the right moment.
Yes. I think that's the beauty of Genfest, and I'm sure you are very proud of it. So what do you think, that you hope and dream that future Genfest, do you think the idea of going around the continent will be a very good idea to give other continent, let's say next time maybe you go to Africa or you go to Latin America, maybe that would be nice for the other countries to be exposed also to the beauty of this project? What do you think?
6 years from now, the next Genfest will be in Brazil. It was announced. In the hall that Brazil will host the next
Is that
Genfest.
Rio de Janeiro or São Paulo?
I think Rio or São Paulo. It depends upon the venue that they will choose.
Okay.
São Paulo has more infrastructures, big infrastructures to host the young people. So either Rio or São Paulo will be the. I don't know. It depends upon the committee of Brazilian committee to decide on. And we are close to also social realities there,
Yes,
very
yes.
much in contrast. Also, we are close to the Amazon for the ecological situation of the
Yes,
world.
yes.
So it could be a very, very interesting Genfest 6 years from now in Brazil. So we are inviting the young ones who will be already 6 years from now eligible to attend the Genfest. It will be an exciting witnessing another work of God for sure. It will be God will unfold Himself in another way for sure because He is never the same. He is always inventive and playful, and we will be amazed again by His work. And I'm sure you will enjoy, and I will, if God permits, we still will enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's-
So in your life, because I think you mentioned something happened to you why you become closer to God. May I know what is this that really struck you that you need God in your life?
In my life, the very first thing that my first fear of life was death.
Okay.
Because death for me is a mystery that I have never ever understood ever since. Because why are we born only to die? I was asking myself, why being born in the first place? But then when I met God and found His light, I found out that this life is so beautiful. It's just like, and death is just like entering into another reality. Just like what Jesus gave us, that He resurrected. The resurrection of Christ gave me the answer of death, that it is not the reality, and He won death also, but it's a passage to another life. And that reconciled my being born here to being born, to getting ready to be born in another life. His light really wiped away all the doubts, wiped away all the fears, and it's just like being ready to encounter Him in every aspect that He wants me to discover Him. And discovering Jesus who died on the cross is the best answer for me for all the many whys that I encounter in life. If I say, why this? Then I look at Him who cried, my God, why have you abandoned me? And I find the answer immediately in that Jesus who died on the cross for us. And that's the very essence of why I really changed my life.
So at least you come into contact with Him without your knowing it. It becomes deeper, and it really enrich your life better to understand, because it destroyed the fears. Because I think we have to admit, all of us always have this kind of fears, and then, but God is assuring you this is just a myth. You should not be fearful. You should not be scared because I'm there for you,
That's
So,
right.
but we will come back. Ibabalik po namin aming magandang pag-uusap sa pagbabalik po ng Power to Unite with Elvira.
I joined the Genfest because it's a nice event where we see concrete friendships happening, and where we see that the united world can happen, and we see it in front of our eyes.
I joined Genfest because it's something that I've never been to before, that I heard a lot of great things about. I've been to Gen since I was really young.
I like the idea to try to to build bridges between our cultures. So, as we say, to go beyond borders. That's also something I try to live every day, and I'm glad to see that more than 6,000 people here are trying to do the same. So, for me, it's like refueling myself with that experience, and then going forward at my travel back in where I'm working.
That different people from different backgrounds, different religious beliefs can understand each other and can find unity and can find something in common, and that there are people who are trustworthy in this world. And this is, I think, is very important, that you are not alone if you think that that decency and trust is important. And it is just so nice to see like-minded people.